Hey guys, and welcome back to another client tutorial. I know it's been a hot minute since I filmed one of these, but I am so glad I'm getting back into the swing of things. So for today, I've done this. I would have to say this is probably one of my most requested in-salon looks that clients will ask for. So Holly is my gorgeous model for today, so I'm just gonna get started and show you guys step by step on how I achieve this look. So first, for brows, I'm using a pomade from the brand called Boho Brows. It's just like sort of similar to an Anastasia dip brow pomade and similar to the Benefit one. This one's in the shade medium brown, and I'm just using that to really lightly kind of mimic her eyebrow hairs. I didn't really want her brows to be too full on because she has amazing fluffy brows. So I just kind of filled in the sparse areas. And then what I did was I used a product called Boho Brows again, but it's kind of like a brow soap. So what I've done is I've just dipped the spoolie in, and it kind of just makes all the hairs go into one direction. It's actually really cool. So it's basically like a setting gel. Then I'm just taking the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer just on a concealer brush and just using that to define the upper and lower brows. And then I'll take some more concealer and use that on her lids for a base for the eyeshadow. Then I'm just using this kind of small kabuki style brush. I'm pretty sure this one you can get from eBay or Zoeva or Sigma. They do them as well. And I'm just blending that all out on the lid. You need to make sure after you've blended out the concealer to set it straight away just to avoid any creasing. So I use the Rimmel translucent powder just with a Real Techniques brush. This is just like the little highlighter brush, and I just set that area straight away. Then I'm taking the new Urban Decay Naked Reloaded palette, which, oh my god, is amazing. It's basically just all like warm sort of shades with a few metallic colors. So I'm just taking the shade on the far right, the second from the right, which is called... Okay, I'm not even going to try and pronounce it, but I'll leave everything that I listed down below for you guys. But it's basically just like a perfect transition color. An orangey sort of undertoned, light, soft brown. That's how I can explain it. So I'm just using a Zoeva, like a large Zoeva brush, and just buffing that into the crease area and basically just all over her lid. You don't have to really be neat with this. This is just a base color. For the darker shades to then blend into later. So then I'm going in with the dark brown from the palette, as you can see, and I'm just using that on the outer corners only. Still using that massive brush, just because, yeah, as I said before, you don't really have to be the neatest with this. Just as long as everything is all blended out, that's all that matters. Then I'm just taking a more denser brush. This one is from Zoeva as well. I'm just taking the dark brown from the palette and just really placing that on the outer corners only. Then I'll go in with that first blending brush and blend it into the transition color. So now I'm taking the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer again, and I'm taking the shade Light or Fair on a concealer brush and starting to do a little half cut crease. I find that having a concealer as the base to a nice shimmery lid just really brings out the pigment in like a metallic eyeshadow, or if you're using a cream eyeshadow, it just kind of creates a really nice base, and I like the sharp line up the top. So I'm just doing that to both eyes. Then I'm grabbing the Shimmery Champagne color from the palette just because I wanted to try it out and it's actually really pretty. I packed the brush on with that and just placed it straight over the top of the concealer. Then just for an extra little bit of shimmer, I'm taking the Curtis Collections Velvet Eyeshadow. I'll leave the name listed down below, but I have used this a few times as well on my clients instead of using that previous eyeshadow from the palette, and it just creates a really pretty like metallic look without it being glittery, because a lot of clients want this look, but a lot of looks online do contain like a lot of loose glitter. So this kind of gives the effect of a glitter lid, but without the actual loose glitter, because sometimes, well, for me, I find that loose glitter can be a little bit uncomfortable. Now I just decided to deepen up the outer corners just with that same dark brown from the palette. Now I'm taking a black. This one I'm pretty sure is just the Makeup Geek Corrupt. And I'm just going to use that to line her top lash line first. Then I'm taking the Urban Decay Silver Eyeliner. I'm not sure of the name. I'll have to have a look and leave it down below for you guys. But I'm basically just going over that cut crease just for an extra little bit of glam. Then for liner, I've recently loved using the Balm Schwing. So for those that ask me how I clean the tip, so basically I just deposit a little bit on my palette, and I love the brush. That's why I like the liner so much, because the brush is so like flimsy and it just creates a really perfect sharp wing. So I just deposit a little bit of the liner on a palette, and then I'll, take more as I need it. So I won't actually double dip it into the actual product itself. And then all I do is I just spray it with a little bit of Isocol to disinfect it, and then I just put it straight back into the package. So that's how I clean my liner when I'm using it on clients. For lashes, I'm using Model Rock 249. Most of you know that 212 is like my go-to, but I've recently discovered 249, which is a little bit more dramatic, and I just love them. So I'm just popping them on with some Duo Lash Glue. These tweezers are also from the brand Model Rock. They're just amazing for really squeezing the real lashes and the false lashes together, just so there's no gap in between. Then for primer, I'm taking the Napoleon Purtis one, and this brush is just a Zoeva stippling brush. Don't think it's supposed to be used for primer, probably for foundation, but as you know me, I use brushes that aren't supposed to be used for certain things, but it just works. And then I'm taking a bit of the Mecca Max light illuminating drops. This one's in the pinky shade, and just popping that all over her face. Then I tried the Hourglass Vanish Seamless Foundation. They do actually have a stick form in this foundation, which I found super full coverage, and I don't think I found the right shade for me, so I didn't use it again. But this shade, I'm pretty sure is in the shade Buff, but if it's not, I'll leave it listed down below. Holy crap. So full coverage, but not too full coverage. I loved it. Definitely gonna have to pick up a few more shades for my kit, but this one definitely did match her fake tan. As you can see, I only did like a few little dabs on her face, and I was like, okay, I need a beauty blender for this shit. So I went in with a damp beauty blender instead of a brush, and it just made the skin sort of like look a little bit more flawless, and just evened out the foundation nicely. So I put it on with a brush first, and then I go in with the damp beauty blender. But yeah, the coverage of this concealer is just incredible. I'm gonna need some for myself now, because this foundation is permanently in my cellar. Then for concealer, I'm taking the Maybelline Fit Me in the shade 20 Sand, and I'm just using this MAC brush to blend it in first. Then I go in with a damp beauty blender to blend it out. To set the concealer in place, I'm taking my favorite Laura Mercier translucent powder just with a brush and just really packing it on. Then I'm just going in to the bottom lash line, taking those first two transition shades that I used on the top and just using them on the bottom and just smoking it out. Everyone always asks me where this brush is from. To be completely honest with you, I have no idea. I got it sent to me maybe 3 years ago, and it's like probably my oldest brush that I have. I have absolutely no idea. I'm so sorry. But I'm sure there's other brands. Like I have so many other styles in that brush as well, from like Zoeva or Sigma. So yeah. Now I'm just taking the Maybelline Eyeshadow gel liner, popping that in her waterline. Then to create that really smoky look underneath, I'm also putting some of the Maybelline Eyeshadow directly underneath the waterline, and then I'll go in with a brush to blend it out, and then I'll use like browns and blacks to smoke it out further so it looks nice and seamless. Then I wanted to try out the Too Faced Tutti Frutti range. This is their bronzer, and I was very impressed with it. It does look really shimmery in the pot, which scared me a little bit, but it actually looks really, really nice and glowy on the skin. So I popped that onto her cheeks and then around the perimeters of her face as well. Then I also had to go in with my favorite Huda by Benefit bronzer just to define the contour a little bit more. Then I'm just going in with the Laura Mercier translucent powder just to define and bake her contour. Then I tried the Too Faced Tutti Frutti, oh that's a tongue twister, blush. Again, I was really scared that this was just going to be like super, super glowy and like, you know, like too much, because in the pan it looks just really, really shimmery, but it actually looks really, really pretty on the cheeks. So I was very impressed with that. Then I tried out the Charlotte Tilbury Block of Gold highlighter. To be honest, thought it'd be a bit more pigmented than it was. Like I really needed to pack on the product, but on the skin it did look really, really, really pretty. So I pretty much ended up by the end of it just like mixing all like 3 colors together. But I'm just popping that on the highest point of her face, down the bridge of her nose, Cupid's bow, on her cheekbones, and above the arches of her brows. Then I'm just going in with a mascara. Pretty sure I just used the Benefit Roller Lash and just merging her real lashes with the falsies. For the inner corner highlight, I'm taking the Australis Metalix eyeshadow in the shade Amy Winehouse and just popping that in her inner tear ducts. And then I'm taking MAC Vanilla Pigment to set that on top and just to make it look even more brighter than it is, because I'm obsessed with her bright inner corner highlight. For lips, I'm taking the Colourpop Lippy Stick in the shade 951 and using that to define her lips. And then I haven't used this bad boy in ages, but it used to be a very popular shade that I used in my kit. Huda Beauty liquid lipstick in the shade Bombshell. It's like the most perfect nude. So I filled in her lips with that. And then I'm taking this gorgeous gold reflected lip gloss from Marc Jacobs. I'll leave the shades down below because I can't remember from the top of my head. I just think this combo is so bomb, and it just makes her lips look really nice and lush. I love it. Then finally, I'm trying out the Colourpop All Star Face Setting Spray. Not that I can really comment on it because I wasn't using it, but I guess it sprayed okay. But yeah, that is the final look. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you want any specific looks that you want me to recreate or do or play with certain colors, let me know in the comments down below, because I do really want to make a comeback of my client tutorials and try to upload one every week or one every 2 weeks, because I know how much you guys love them. Thank you so much for your love and support, and I will see you next time. Bye guys.